Hey guys, and welcome to Joe's Pace Lap. So round one of the Gears series, you got Yas Marina Grand Prix. We're taking a couple laps in the pace car to see what it's like. 3.45 miles or 5.5 kilometers roughly around this circuit, 21 corners, and they're all very unique, just like that pit lane. So anyways, a 2.4-hour race or 144 minutes will make this for a challenging event, and it's estimated it'll be about 65 or 66 laps. This will mean that it's going to be very difficult to make a one-stop strategy work, but depending on the team, it may not, or the manufacturer, it may not be entirely out of the question. Tire wear will be a factor for certain teams, such as Porsche teams, and those teams will struggle to make a one-stop work if it's even faster. They may be at a disadvantage for that reason. And if that's the case, I'm going to go with McLaren for my expected manufacturer to win. They're pretty quick as a whole, as they've shown in the preseason testing, and the fact that the car is pretty stable and pretty nimble, it appears, through some of these tight corners. They're probably going to have the advantage. They're probably going to have better tire wear, and they most likely will win the race. The tire wear will be a disadvantage for the Porsche, which will beat them up, I think, and force them into a corner or a two-stop strategy, and possibly forces them to pit early or pit when they don't want to. Either way, the expected pole should be about 2 minutes and 8 seconds, as it's going to be a fairly lengthy lap, and a 2 minute and 8 second lap will be very, very competitive. However, a 2 minute and 7 second lap, that's not completely out of the question either. We can take a look at some of the faster guys, and we'll probably see at the end of the session a 2:07 on the board. However, a 2:08 or a 2:07 is both likely. As a whole, fuel consumption is going to be looking pretty okay, pretty average for the most part. There's a lot of slow corners that'll be coming around in this corner or in this circuit. A couple of them appearing right here in these corners. Very slow in succession, not a lot of long straights. You're out of the throttle for quite a bit of time for certain parts of the track. It'll make fuel saving kind of easy. Tire wear, pretty manageable as well. As you can see, some of the corners are very slow and in succession, and there's not a lot of load on these tires. This is probably the fastest section of the whole entire track as far as how much load is on the tires. And that's going to be a problem for the Porsche, that corner specifically, because of how free the rear end will be. But certain cars that are more planted on the front of the nose of the car, they'll be better off. So now, as we go around for one more lap, we take a look at more of the track and how the racecraft will pan out here. It's a very challenging racetrack to race on by yourself, just because of the nature of some of these corners, how they can be very tight at times, uh, varying radius of the corners can make it pretty difficult to adjust and learn the circuit and the preferred line, the faster line. Coming up to turn 1, though, this is a pretty basic left-hander, 90 degrees, and it's very difficult to make an overtake here just because of how short the braking zone is. So you're kind of going to need a mistake from the car in front in the corner, the last corner of the racetrack. But either way, if you can't get the overtake complete, you're going to have to hang in tough for these couple of corners. This uphill S section is going to be very difficult to stay too wide in, so if you've just been overtaken, your best bet might be to back out. And if you're trying to overtake and you're not quite there yet, your best bet might be to save it for a later corner. Either way, if you're still side by side by now, attaboy. But pointless chicane number 1, you're going to have to back out, or someone will at least. That's going to be a theme for this race, give and take for sure. As you get to pointless chicanes, it's going to require you to back out of corners. Now, this upcoming hairpin here is not an overtaking opportunity either, unless a mistake was made in the previous corner, simply because there's no braking zone. There's just no way. However, the braking zone coming up at the end of this long straight is probably your best opportunity. Coming up after the hairpin is a long straight, followed by another really tight chicane like the one we just went through. However, this one's a little bit more of a hairpin variety at first, but it's still a chicane nonetheless, so it's very challenging to follow closely, and it's near impossible to stay side by side through here. With that being said, it's going to require late brave braking to get the move done, and if you can't, you're going to have to cut the course. It's just so difficult. If you miss your braking zone, you're going to have to cut the course and give the time back. There's no possible way that you can outbrake someone, outbrake yourself, and still make that corner. It's too tight. After navigating that corner, you got another long straight leading up to another pointless chicane. These chicanes, like I said, are one at a time for the most part. This one, though, however, is even tighter than the rest, as it can get really tight with two cars. I mean, it's really hard to navigate with one. But you can imagine trying to get here side by side. Give and take, give and take. Now for the next couple of corners, specifically this one, there's no real overtaking opportunity here simply because, well, you can't get alongside before the corner. Now, tricky turn 15, 16, and 17 are coming up, and these corners are going to be extremely challenging. The first left-hand corner is going to be flat out, the second as well, but this one, right hand, sorry. But that one right there is going to be very hard braking. You're going to be just about out of control, and more importantly, there's no possible way you can get alongside before that bend. As you go through the hotel corners, again, no real straight, no real opportunity to get alongside unless a mistake was made in the previous corner. And now coming up is turn 20. You can get an idea of this turn and the line through there. You hit the apex, come out wide. There's a lot of room, yet there's only one preferred line, only one true fast racing line through there. It's going to be hard to stay on the inside and keep a run heading into the next turn. So now pulling into pit lane here to wrap up the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you found it informative. And when you guys are on the track, good luck. I'll see you there. And have a great race.